welcome everybody. Welcome to our live discussion of the 2019 BI trends from Tableau. This is one of the most anticipated pieces of content that Tableau puts out every year. We are so excited to be here with you. Thank you to everyone who has joined us at home, at work, wherever you are. We appreciate you joining us. I'm Keyana Corliss. I'm here with our Chief Technology Officer, Andrew Beers. Hi, Andrew.
Morning, everyone. Welcome to TC18. It's going to be a fun week.
It sure is. We've already had our keynote, which is why, as you can see, Andrew and I, we got the champagne going already.
We're celebrating.
We are celebrating. I think we should cheers. Should we cheers?
I think we should.
Let's do it. Cheers.
Let's kick it off.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers to you guys at home. I don't know what time it is where you are, but I think you can grab a drink. Just tell your boss I said it's fine.
There we go.
It's fine. Just like Keyana said, it's fine. Well, thank you guys so much. We are super stoked to bring you content all week long. Today, I'm saying tonight because I'm drinking champagne. It's today.
It's okay.
It's still
morning. We'll get used to it.
Still morning. So we're going to talk about these trends. So Andrew, you have a huge hand in developing these.
Absolutely.
So can you tell us a little bit about what they are, what we can expect?
Yeah, sure. So I won't go through them all, but every year we compile this list of what we think are the top 10 trends that are affecting business intelligence. These are the things that we want people to keep an eye out for as they make their plans for next year, so they can figure out how to invest and jump on the things that are making the most waves in this space right now. So we determine these trends by talking to engineers and product managers and customers and people out there in the field. You know, we combine that with all the things that we're hearing from the industry analysts that are out there looking at these things every day. So these years, our trends cover a wide range of things, all the way from artificial intelligence to data ethics to the shifting roles and responsibilities on BI teams the world over. So it's a really, really exciting list, and I'm really glad that we're going to spend some time breaking a few of those down this morning.
Yeah, so we're going to get through 3 of them today. If you want the full list, we'll link to them in the comments below. So for those of you watching, definitely go into the comments. We'll link to all of them. But let's not waste any more time, shall we? So we're going to bring, let's do it. So we're going to bring out our first guest, Richard Tibbetts, who is our Principal Product Manager here at Tableau, to chat about AI. We're so excited to have you here. Welcome, Richard.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Hey, Richard, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. All right, so let's do it. Okay, so you
why don't I dive in? So
okay.
Sure. First trend we're talking about is around artificial intelligence, machine learning, right?
Yep.
So many of these machine learning applications that are out there, they don't really have a way to sort of look under the hood. Like, what is this black box that is operating on my data and then doing something for me? And that can, of course, lead to trust problems. So there's this emerging trend. One of our trends this year is around what we call explainable AI. So can you take us through, like, what does this explainable AI mean?
Yeah, of course. So there's obviously a lot of interest in the use of AI and the use of AI to make very important decisions. We're seeing people who believe they're using AI for law enforcement, believe they're using AI to make various logistical decisions. And in general, there's a concern that the system may or may not be accurate. It may or may not be making the kind of decisions that we'd like it to make. It may or may not be ethical, depending on how it's approaching things. And so the trend around explainable AI is to look for ways that we can allow the machine to expose its thought process or to expose how it's making these decisions about data, so that humans are in a position to be able to provide guidance, or at least be able to justify and understand what's coming out of the machine.
Awesome. That sounds like a really, really useful aspect of these systems now.
Yeah, so talk to us a little bit about, so you talk about the lack of trust, but how do you see right now BI vendors kind of incorporating AI today? Like, just at a high level.
Yeah, high level BI vendors in general. So there's definitely a lot of activity. People are very enthusiastic about it. The most common way is to bring in machine learning for doing things like scoring, looking at lead scoring, looking at prioritization. But then you also see a lot of uptake in forecasting. So that's functionality that many BI platforms have had for a long time, and people are able to use that to make decisions and use that to better understand their data. And then we're seeing increased moves towards bringing in things like conversational analytics, ways of being able to interact with the machine that are new coming out of these AI trends.
Great, so you used that magical word in there, interact. Like talk about like why these systems like need to be interactive versus just explainable.
Yeah, in my experience with explainable artificial intelligence and some of the efforts that are going on there, especially in the research community, there's a big focus on the idea that there's just one explanation of the system, or that there is a simple, if we just tell people what's going on, then we'd know the answer. And what I find is really the best way to understand a system, the best way to develop trust is to be able to interact with it, to be able to ask it many questions. It's sort of like if you hired a consultant to value your house, to assign a value to your house, but they were only willing to answer one question. Most of these systems, you ask an AI to score your leads, they just give you a number and they're done.
Right.
With a consultant, you're used to being able to ask follow-up questions. Well, what if it was like this? What if it was like that? How about we take this out? What factors matter? There's a whole dialogue that you're used to having with people, and we really need to facilitate that dialogue with the machine, that dialogue with these kind of machine understandings of data.
That's incredibly interesting, and I think for a lot of folks, that's a very simple way to sort of conceptualize it. Like, it's like talking to a person. Would you just ask them one question and then walk away? No, you're always going to ask follow-up questions,
always,
right?
always.
I mean, I always ask follow-up questions.
Right.
My 4-year-old would be great at AI.
This is true.
So many follow-up questions.
Well, that's also becomes a reality check for a lot of what people are seeing is there's this notion that the AI is going to just tell you the answer to what you should do in your business, but somewhat like your 4-year-old, AI just cannot understand your business. It's not going to have the fundamental understanding of the real world, and so it's really going to be giving you primarily numerically derived answers.
Sure.
I often tell people to treat these AI systems like you have a really smart intern.
Yeah,
that's
and of
a
course
good
with
one.
these 4-year-olds and with these interns, we spend a lot of time teaching them about the world. So
Right.
is that something that starts to factor into these systems, this notion that we teach them along the way and iteratively get there?
Yeah, there's both aspects where the system can come to learn what explanations are helpful or what things are most interesting. But there's other areas where you actually want to very deliberately give it additional information or provide semantic annotation to allow it to have more natural conversations, for example.
Awesome.
That's awesome. So one last question for you. Is there something you're just incredibly excited about in the year to come? I mean, I know it's a broad question, but is there something you were so excited that you were working on or to learn more about?
Yeah, I mean, I'm extremely excited to be here working with Tableau and working with a much broader portfolio of customers. We were at Empirical, we were working primarily with people in the banking sector in a sort of very narrow area.
Sure.
Tableau is giving us this space and this conference has been amazing for getting out and talking to people who are using data for all sorts of decision making, all sorts of understanding, and being able to take this kind of explainable AI technology and learn what explanations do people find helpful, what explanations help them actually make decisions.
Fantastic. Amazing. This is going to be such a big topic for the trends this year.
Totally.
Richard, thank
Wonderful.
you so much
Thank
for joining
you.
us this
Great
morning.
to be here.
Thank
Yeah,
you
enjoy the
so
rest of the
much.
conference.
We loved having you. Thank you. So great to have you at Tableau. Okay, so up next, we've got a Zenmaster,
Oh,
which
amazing.
for those of you who
Fantastic.
don't know, and I think most of you might, Zenmasters are basically celebrities at Tableau. I mean, they are incredibly smart, such an important part of our community. We love them, we treat them like the royalty that they are, as we should. So we're gonna have Ann Jackson, she's gonna come out and talk to us about enterprises getting smarter about analytics adoption. Hi, how are you? Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Ann. Thank you for
Good
joining
morning.
us.
Is it still morning?
It is still
I
morning.
think
Well,
we're right
we
at
got
noon,
champagne.
right?
Yeah, it's okay.
Fair enough.
It
It's
depends what
afternoon
time zone
somewhere.
you're on.
It is.
Agree.
It is.
So, okay, let's get right into it. How would you describe enterprise BI adoption?
Yeah, so I think when I think about enterprise adoption, you kind of have to dissect it into two things. So there's access and then there's adoption. So access is having the tools, enabling people, giving them the things that they need to actually leverage analytics, but adoption is something else, right?
Okay.
That's when they're actually using data, they're finding insights, they're having discussions, right? The insights are then driving their decisions. So when I think about adoption, it's that act. I really think you measure it with how much people are consuming the content that's being created, how often are they having these discussions, are they sitting in meetings doing these things? It's all about user engagement.
So adoption really sounds like it's a cultural change moment
Yes.
for a company. Like it really has to get into everybody's daily habits. It's got to get under people's skin. You talked just now about user engagement. Do you see a big difference between the notion of enterprise adoption of BI and user engagement? Are they different or are they the same?
So I think it's almost like access, then adoption, then engagement. So I think engagement is truly that act. When I think about engagement, it's very active, right? You are in it, right? You can adopt it and still be somewhat passive, but once you're engaged, you're just entrenched in whatever it is, right? You can't live without it to some degree, and that's where I love it. Seriously, I mean,
Yeah.
I can't live
Yeah.
without data. I
Yeah.
can't live without analytics. I can't live without Tableau.
Yeah.
And
That's
that's
what I
where
like
I
to
think
hear. That's what I love
engagement
it.
is. It's that much enthusiasm and passion for what it is you're doing, and the necessity to keep using it over and over again.
Got it. And do you see adoption or engagement being different between like the folks like you, the Zenmasters who are out there like creating the content, they're solving the problems, and like the bigger, broader community they serve? Like, does adoption does it proceed differently in those communities?
I think it can. I mean, probably part of what you're touching on is this whole notion of community, right? So there's the external Tableau community, there's communities inside of organizations as well. My goal, my dream would be for everyone to be as engaged as I am as a Zenmaster, right? For us to all be at that level, but it's certainly different, right? I mean, for someone like me, I've been around data for so long. When I think about adoption as well, it's getting more people in more diverse roles involved in getting toward that engagement.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Okay, so you touched a little bit about communities. We talked a little bit about that, and so let's talk about your dream, right? Everybody being as engaged as you are, which we love. We love how engaged you are. How do so we have a great community with the Tableau community.
Absolutely.
I mean, just incredible. Like, look at all these people, the energy. But how do internal user communities in enterprises and organizations? How does that affect engagement and how you can sort of grow that?
It's huge, right? I think anytime you have a place, an internal community that is supporting what it is you're doing, you're going to naturally find people who are passionate, that have the enthusiasm. I think of internal user groups as a place to foster creativity, innovation, collaboration, right? A lot of really successful internal user groups are very organizationally diverse, right? You've got HR, you've got IT folks, you've got other people, and that's going to really amp up your overall data literacy, how much you're actually getting out of analytics. It's going to help you find those champions. I like to say that internal user groups are where you're going to find your next analytics leaders, and you're going to give them that space to become the voice that they need to be. So I think it's really critical that every company invests in an internal user group.
That's fantastic. You bring up just a lot of magical topics in there. But I want to spring one last question on you before we maybe move on.
Well, I kind of have
You have one more?
Okay,
so maybe two more questions. Okay. So you've been in the Zenmasters now for a while, right?
This is my first year as a Zen.
Right?
First year.
Yes. New to the Zenmaster community. What have you learned so far from the Zenmaster community that you would love to tell those internal user groups to adopt and really use that to be successful like the Zenmasters have been?
It's about support. It's about openness. It's about feedback. It's about giving everyone an opportunity to be part of it. It's very much embracing people. The reason I'm a Zenmaster today is because of the support of other individuals. It's finding people that are similar or like-minded. You latch onto those ideas. They give you ideas to grow. That's what an internal community is about. That's what community is about.
Great.
That support is huge.
Yeah, so that seems like a call to action for all the enterprises out there. Find ways to support those great internal communities, and they're going to blossom and do amazing things for you.
Absolutely. All right, your last question for you. You sat through the keynote this morning.
Yes.
Anything that just wowed you? What are you most excited about?
You know what, the three topics, so NLP, the data modeling, and those two in particular were interesting. When I think about data modeling and what it's going to do for the business user, how much more it's going to help them understand concepts that were more the DBAs, more architecture based, that were sort of technical and outside their domain. This is really going to do so much to bring people up to that level. I think that's huge. I love the idea of natural language processing and where that's going to live on the server, giving people an opportunity to look at the curated published data sources so in a safe manner and start interrogating their data. I think that's going to help drive engagement and adoption and get casual people interested in understanding sort of how you ask a question and what that translates to in terms of working in Tableau and just how you actually interact with data.
So awesome.
Amazing.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Thanks
it was
for
so
joining
great to
us.
have you. We'll see you all week, I'm
Yes,
sure.
you will, of course.
You're going to be all over the place? Okay,
Absolutely.
awesome. Thank you.
Thanks,
for
guys.
being here.
Thank you.
All
There
right,
was
you
a lot
guys.
of great topics in there. It just reminds me of like all the other great stuff that's on the BI trends list that we're not going to get a chance to talk about today, like ethics and literacy and stuff like that. Make sure you check out those trends and read the full set.
Absolutely. And also, if you are following along at home or at work, hashtag TC18. Andrew and I have already been tweeting up a storm.
Yes.
You want to retweet us, you want to follow us. I'm at Keyana Corliss. Andrew is at AC Beers.
That's right.
Easy to remember, super fun. Definitely follow us, follow hashtag TC18. All right, we've got one more guest, and
On
I
to
can't
number
wait.
3, yes.
I can't wait for him to come out.
Definitely.
Because the first thing I'm going to ask him, I'm so jazzed about. All right, we've got Neil Myrick, the head of the Tableau Foundation. Come on out here.
Come on out, Neil.
All right, so
welcome. Thanks for joining us.
so good to have you. All right, so he's going to be
Thank you.
talking about data collaboratives and the impact of using data for social good, which is an incredibly important topic and trend, but I cannot like hold it in any longer. $100 million. Holy
amazing.
cow!
$100
Amazing.
million.
How excited are you right now?
I am so excited. It's taken a lot of work to get here, and to have it real and have the full company's commitment behind us to scale the work at the foundation is really it's mind-blowing.
Well, okay, so let's
Amazing.
put it into context for folks, okay? So over the last 5 years, I know a lot of you guys have heard the incredible work that the foundation has done, real results, real change. That's what $30 million.
Yes.
Okay, so we're talking about over
3
triple.
times that.
Triple.
So like, I feel like people need to know this context, right? Because
Yes.
this isn't just another company writing a check.
No.
I mean, this is real.
This is real. And it takes hard work to actually wisely invest those kinds of resources for real impact around the world. And I think the fact that we have some really good use cases from what we have done is a real testament to why the board and the company and the execs all got behind this $100 million gift.
Well, we are super excited.
It's very
Can't
cool.
wait to see what you and the foundation do with all that, with all those resources.
Absolutely.
It'll be amazing, world-changing stuff.
Yes,
Totally,
absolutely.
Totally. All right, so let's get into the trends, shall we?
Absolutely.
Do you want to
So,
kick us off?
The trend here is around data collaborative. So can you
Yes.
start off just by educating everyone, like what is a data collaborative?
I will. It's interesting in all industries, we give something a name and it becomes even more mysterious.
Becomes a thing, yeah.
Data collaboratives are a mechanism for sharing data. And so we all know that data has tremendous commercial value. We see the good and bad of that. But data also have a tremendous social value. And if we can combine data sets across organizations, we can do things like find cures to cancer faster, we can stop infectious disease, we can improve education outcomes for kids. So it's in the data sharing where we actually think that you can find much deeper insights to solving some of these problems than you can find just with your own data. So a data collaborative is a way for people to share data and do it in a way that is ethical and responsible. Data comes with sort of, in addition to the value it has, it actually comes with some legal risk, right? Sharing data. So when you have organizations sharing data through a collaborative model, they agree to share data on a set of given principles.
Okay.
The people who share the data get to govern how it's used and how it's protected. So it's a shared governance model. That actually then shares the risk of the data sharing. Because if they're all agreeing to share certain amounts of data to solve a particular world problem, and they govern how the data is shared, it actually shares the risk among all of the organizations that are sharing the data.
Reminds me a little about like Creative Commons, like has done for other media types.
Absolutely,
almost,
it's
yeah.
Creative Commons.
Yeah.
Even if you think about like the collaborative preschools, right? You actually have
Oh,
to,
right. Yeah.
you have to work in them to get the benefits from them. And data collaboratives, often you have to share data to get data. So it's a really great model.
So
Great.
can you, I guess, just to conceptualize, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Can you give us a really good example of one, of how a data collaborative might work?
Yes, they're actually pretty new, so there aren't, as far as I know, a lot of examples out there. But the Fred Hutch Cancer Research Institute in Seattle, our hometown, they are working on building a data collaborative where they can get cancer research data from multiple organizations and then store that in a single place so researchers can actually get access to data from organizations that they otherwise couldn't get access to because the data are shared across the organizations. And what they believe is that by sharing data across organizations who are doing similar cancer research, that the researchers can actually combine those data and find the deeper insights that might accelerate their chance to actually find a cure for cancer.
That's amazing.
Yep.
So you've talked a lot about, a lot of sort of scientific organizations happening here, like cancer research and things like that. One of the things I love about the Tableau community is we have people from all over different industries. So, if you had an organization that was out there that was really curious about data collaboratives and wanted to get involved or get one started, like what kind of advice could you give to them about participating in a collaborative?
I would actually say it's so new that it's something that we could talk to them about. And they would, in some ways, be pioneers because there's not a lot of real-life examples out there yet. But the way to get started is really identify the organizations that you want to share data with and the problem that you hope to solve. And that could be a mix of for-profit, nonprofit, government organizations. And then it's really just a governance model. So it's sitting down with the people who are sharing the data and talking about how can it be shared, who gets access, ethically, how can it be used, and what security does it need, and sort of running out all of those questions, and then having a set of guiding principles that then are used for sharing those data appropriately among the participants.
And so I've got to assume that we're, as a foundation, we're really helping a lot of these organizations sort of navigate that landscape. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So okay, speaking of foundation, I want to go back to it just for a second.
Sure.
So I'm going to put you on the spot for a minute.
Okay.
You have gone all over the world.
Yes.
You've done incredible things with the Tableau Foundation. I'm sure you've seen a lot. Is there anything that really sticks out in your mind as sort of the impact that the foundation has been able to have?
Absolutely. In fact, we just got some numbers last week from our project.
We love numbers.
We love numbers. We're data people.
Off the press, guys.
Exactly. We just got numbers last week on our work in Zambia, which is part of our Visualize No Malaria initiative down there. And the southern province is where we've been doing this work for about 3.5 years. And they just reported that they've had an 80% decline in malaria cases and a 90% decline in malaria deaths, which we're so excited about. And it's because the government has just been so courageous in pursuing their effort to be malaria-free by 2021 that we've been able to play a small part in actually helping achieve that objective.
That's got to be awesome. And you've been down there a couple times.
I was in
right?
Zambia, and they are data people. It's amazing. You walk in a clinic way out. I walked in a clinic way out in the Chikinkata district of Zambia, and on the wall they had hand-drawn line charts and bar charts showing the number of malaria cases this year versus last year.
I love it.
And we're working really hard with our partner Path to bring real analytics as far out into those clinics as we possibly can, because they're data people, and if we can enable them with sort of real-time analytics even deeper into their communities, we think they can accelerate progress toward malaria elimination.
That's awesome.
That's
I ran into a Path employee today, and right after the announcement actually, and he was so jazzed.
Yes, indeed.
About our announcement.
Yes,
so,
indeed.
well, thank you so much, Neil. We really appreciate it.
One more
Oh,
question.
you got one.
I
Okay.
one more.
All right.
Since we're
Sorry.
talking on the foundation,
That's right.
looking ahead to 2019.
Yes.
Like, what are you most excited about? Like, for the next kind of things that we're going to get started with the foundation, the next kind of impacts that we're going to have.
I'm really excited. So for context, the mission of the foundation is to encourage the use of facts and analytical reasoning to solve world problems.
Awesome.
And we take the solving world problems part seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're going to see is we're actually going to take some of the work that we've done, the methodologies that we've used in Zambia, and we're going to start tackling problems like homelessness, clean water, and women's health.
Awesome.
In addition to the work we're doing already on gender equality and other issues. And so what the 100 million allows us to do is actually invest deeply to really scale the things that work so we can have impact on more people.
That's very nice.
Yeah, super exciting.
And I know,
really
not
exciting.
only is the foundation doing this great stuff, but I know that the Tableau employees are very passionate about these causes, and they tend to help out as well. So
absolutely,
we're going to be right there with you.
Absolutely, and
So
you just had a Zenmaster up here, and the Zenmasters are deeply engaged in the Tableau Foundation's work and have made all the difference along with our partners.
That's what I love about our community.
Yes.
It's just everyone,
I've never seen anything like it.
It's like Sunday morning and people are, volunteering their time, they're making visualizations, they're like, where can I don't even know how to explain it. It's just unbelievable. And I think that people maybe realize the power that data really has. Yeah. And when you have that power to sort of really affect change, and you can see it in real time.
Absolutely.
It's rewarding.
It is.
It's so rewarding.
And you couple that with a community that just really wants to give.
Totally.
That's the employees,
that's the
customer community. Like, there's so much giving in this community. We just love it.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Absolutely
well,
So great.
You have a lot of work to do.
I do.
Yeah.
I have 100 million to wisely spend in the next. Yes.
So we'll let
go
you
get started.
We will. We will.
We
We're
can't
excited.
keep you here too long. You got to get back to work.
I have work to do.
Thanks, Neil, for joining us.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Great talking to you.
Thank
Thanks for sharing everything with us.
Thank you.
All right, you guys.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
This is so great. Okay, so we have 10 trends.
10 trends.
We might have 11, right?
Right.
So you guys out there, if you want, and you want to, I do know you do, pick the 11th trend. You just follow the link to the comments, right? We've
That's
got
right.
people picking out our trends. What do you think?
Yeah, well, how are people going to know, like, what that 11th trend is? Like, what's going to happen with
So
all that data?
I think we're going to announce the results on a special Facebook Live event on November 7th. Are we invited to that? Is there champagne?
Man, I hope so. We should
Is there
make sure
champagne?
there is.
We should
yeah.
make sure there's champagne.
Definitely.
We should tell someone.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, good. All right. So, and remember, you guys, we're on day 1, so we may have gone a little aggressive because this is just day 1.
It's possible. It's possible.
We got really excited. It's a really big week. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Definitely a marathon.
But we've been really excited. This is just day 1. We've got tons of sessions. We've got sessions about customer session from Netflix, Tableau prep. We've got here sessions on LOD calcs. I mean, you name it, we've got it. Tune in all week. And again, TC18, hashtag TC18. You can follow along all week long. You can follow me at Keyana Corliss, Andrew
Me
at
and AC Beers.
That's right. Follow us. We're tweeting very, very good stuff, like selfies of us drinking champagne.
Exactly.
It's very
But
compelling.
before we wrap up,
Yeah.
what are you most excited for? Like, the whole conference is in front of us. Like, what are you jazzed about?
Well, okay, so I was super jazzed about the keynote because
Yeah.
I always get jazzed about the keynote. And I said this earlier today
Okay.
during the pre-show, but I don't think there is a company, I mean, maybe like Apple or something, but there are very few companies where people get up out of their seats and cheer for a product feature.
Yeah,
I mean, in
that's
enterprise
true.
tech,
Yeah.
like,
It doesn't happen.
you get to use this at work, and people get up after their chair and they're like, woo! And it's just, to me, it's like a testament to how much our customers love our product and how thankful we are for that. Like, I don't think we take that for granted for a second.
Not for a second.
And I think it's inspiring. Like, we got to keep innovating on behalf of our customers because they get
Absolutely.
excited about this stuff.
Absolutely.
I don't know, what about you?
For me, it's two things. My absolute hands down favorite of the conference every year is developers on stage. I
Yeah.
love seeing, a bunch of people who are building the product every day,
Sure.
who don't get up and talk to 25,000 people as part of their job. They go and over a period of a couple of months, they develop these stories, they build all these great stuff, and then they tell these amazing and often very funny
Oh,
stories
so funny.
to the
Love
audience.
them.
And I really, really enjoyed that. That's tomorrow morning, bright and early, so make sure you check that out.
We'll be pre-gaming it. I don't know what the technical
Oh yeah,
term
we're
for
pre-gaming it?
Well,
Let's
we can
do it.
I mean, pre-game it.
Yeah.
It's like a college game day, but for
Yeah.
keynote.
But the other thing that I really enjoy is it's like a big reunion every year. Like,
Oh, yeah.
11 years running, I've been to the conference every year, and so just getting to reconnect with all those people that I see year after
Oh,
year
absolutely.
and just see what's changing, see what the new trends are, like that's a big part of being at the conference. So I'm excited.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And everyone who knows me knows it wouldn't be me if I didn't give a little plug to Run TC18.
Run TC! Oh, I'm going to do, I think, my very first Run TC18 on Thursday morning. I'm going to be there at 5:30 in the morning.
Okay, if you can't be there or you don't want to be there, you better believe I am tweeting that out. There will be a picture of Andrew and I.
That's
hell or
right.
high water.
We're going to run.
We're
I'm
gonna
not a
go
runner,
out
but
for
we're
a
going to run.
No, it's going to be great. Everyone's a runner at Run TC, but I mean that's the community, right? Like,
That's right.
People waking up at 5:30 in the morning, seeing friends that they ran with a whole year ago, going out on the streets of New Orleans, getting ready for the day. It's just, I mean, this you can't even explain this conference. I think to those
Exactly.
of you at home or in your office, wherever you are. I hope you're at home and not in the office. But in any case, you have to come to this conference one time. It's just,
Exactly. It's unique.
electric.
It's unique.
It's
Yeah.
electric. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you for tuning in. We're going to have content all week long. Hashtag TC18. Follow us live. Thank you so much for joining us. For Tableau, I'm Keyana.
I'm Andrew.
We'll see you
see you
later.
next time.
Bye.
Great being a
Cheers.
co-host.
Yay.
Cheers.
Cheers.